So this is pretty cool. This actually came to me in a dream last night. It does not happen very often, but when it does, it feels so divinely oriented for me. In this dream, I was on a call with a client. We were in spiritual direction, and her mother showed up and asked some very challenging questions. The mother was this really strong-willed, professional Black woman who was intimidating to me, and she asked me a very direct question about specifically, how are you helping my daughter through this process? Like, what are your strengths? What are your steps? What's your structure is what she asked me. And I didn't have an answer, but I was calm, and I said, well, let's talk through what we do and see what we can come up with as far as the steps that I'm using. And then as I spoke, the steps just emerged very clearly. So I woke up this morning with sort of 3 main ways that I work with people in spiritual direction and what it is that I provide or do for you. And they are magic, work ethic, and softening. So I want to move through each one because it made a lot of sense when I woke up and I was like, that actually is what I do. I just had not put it in those terms, and I had not been challenged to put it into that form. So the first is magic, and I realized that part of the draw of dream work for people is the playful language, but also the potential or possibility of bringing magic into daily life. And by magic, I mean those mystical coincidences, the symbolism, the, hey, somebody is sending me messages, the secret code. And dreams definitely do that. So what I do is I look for and teach you ways to look for magic in your daily life. And then in the dream, I explained it further, and I said, the way that I do that is I will ask you what surprised you today, or what has surprised you lately. Because when I ask the question that way, it doesn't isolate only the good things, the magic that feels good, or the coincidences or secret messages or support from the divine that feels good. It allows you to look and examine the stuff that's bad as well. So that was important for me because dream work does present both of those, the good and the bad, in this mixed formula of a dream story or a dream sequence. And so by examining the entire dream, we do parse out the things that are for you and the things that are not working for you right now. So the first thing that I do for people in spiritual direction is I help them learn to look for the magic, to look for the things that feel divinely inspired, both good and bad. When we talk about what is surprising you lately, what's catching you off guard that might be coming up from your unconscious or coming from a divine source, okay? So that's one, magic. The second is work ethic, and this was really interesting because in the dream, the woman, the mother who was talking to me talked about her heritage, her Louisiana heritage. And I love that because I said, well, I'm very familiar with the Louisiana heritage. There are these strong women in Louisiana that have a force within them that's kind of natural bred in them. And so I spoke to that and I said, the second part that I offer is practicing a good work ethic, because the women, and in my dream they were fishermen, which I love, the fishermen in the dream understand how to keep the Louisiana economy alive by working with what they have. And so a good work ethic in my dream and in spiritual direction means examining how you're working with what you have to maintain, survive, not just survive, but to thrive in your world and to establish some security and sense of economy. So what is your God-given, what are your God-given assets to work with, and what is your work ethic surrounding those assets? Are you living your purpose? Are you making the world a better place through your actions and using your skill set and using the things that are specifically for you and that should come through your voice into the world? So magic, work ethic. And then the third and final thing is softening and relaxing. So I teach people because I look for where they are tense in session and helping them like pause, Let's just sit with that for a minute. And what happens when we sit is we relax and we soften. And when you soften around an issue, you sink further into it in the interior space. And so when you sink down into an issue a little bit and you just sit with it, you sit with the tension of that issue, it allows you to examine maybe there's a way that you can start untying those knots in your life. So by teaching you how to soften and helping observe you during sessions so I can point out places where you might want to soften or relax into this thing that has you all tied up, you can start to look for a string that we can start to loosen a little bit, and it will start to untie that knot in your life. So that's it. Those were the metaphors that I woke up with, that I was gifted last night because I was sort of working on that issue when I went to bed. And I was afforded this beautiful, amazing dream that now I'm going to hold on to and take with me, because now it's mine to have. But that helps me define what it is I do in spiritual direction and how I help you move forward with your purpose on your life and towards your spiritual well-being. Okay, peace.